While we already do have a few large adventure tourers in the country, most of these bikes are heavily road biased. Well, we are now getting an ADV bike from a Japanese manufacturer that is actually fairly off-road capable. With a heritage that includes success in the Dakar races in the late 1980s, we know that this motorcycle has definitely got its bearings right.
We're here in Rajasthan, and as you can see, we're getting a lot of rain. But we're here to test the new Africa Twin from Honda. And the thing is, we only get the DCT version here. So let's take this automatic adventure tourer for a spin and see what it has to offer.
The Africa Twin takes its design cues from Honda's current Dakar competition bike, the CRF 450 Rally. In a really beefed up guise, of course. The result is a minimal yet distinctive design that proclaims the functional nature of this machine. It skips out on the bulky, intimidating look of other ADV machines and instead gets a sleek, tall look. The front fairing encompasses radiator shrouds which drop down to the sides. The sleek twin LED headlamps pay tribute to the original XR750's round units and lend the face a rather unique look. Relatively small for an ADV bike, the 18.8-litre tank further contributes to the Africa Twin's sleek form. The side and rear profile see simple functional designs with a long, bright red two-piece seat unit that complements the Dakar-inspired paintwork. The rear passenger gets a large flat perch and a chunky grab rail which can also support an accessory top box. The rider seat uses a clever height adjustment feature that allows the rider to easily switch between 820mm and an 840mm seat height configuration.
So as you can tell, it's clearly a very tall bike. But once you get into the saddle, you'll notice the seat isn't really that high. And that's because we get the 820mm version of the seat for India. While the seat is well padded and really holds the rider in place nicely, it's also got a very narrow tank-to-seat junction, which is a very good thing, especially when you're standing and riding.
The sleek look manifests itself in a narrow feel, while the wide bars provide great leverage while also offering the tightest turning radius in class. Behind the non-adjustable windscreen lies a tall, vertically stacked instrument cluster inspired by the Dakar bikes. A taller windscreen is available as an accessory. Information is fairly easy to read with the speedometer and tachometer displayed at the top, while riding mode, trip and other information is displayed along the lower screens. Telltale lights are located along the sides of the console. The switchgear on the left side allows control of the various modes in the screen, as well as the 3-stage traction control. The unusual paddle shifters are also located on the left. The right switchgear gets a rocker switch that's marked N, D and S to select the drive modes. On the right of the Speedo console lie the ABS button and G button to control the switchable ABS or switch the bike into gravel mode. Although it is available internationally with the conventional 6-speed manual or the 6-speed DCT, in India we only get the automatic version. This is a revised version of the DCT transmission that was originally offered with the VFR 1200 in India a few years back. The gearbox can change gears automatically in D mode, or you can manually shift up by using the paddles on the left side. A 3-stage sport mode offers varying level of gear shift patterns, and the additional G mode alters the clutch action to provide additional traction on gravelly surfaces. The engine is a completely new 999cc parallel twin developed for this bike. Honda have moved away from the old V-twin layout for packaging benefits, and this engine sees details that benefit an ADV bike. The engine uses a 270-degree crank that produces a deep growl and helps generate a better feel for traction at the rear. Its 87 horsepower arrives at 7,500 RPM, while a maximum of 91.9 Nm of torque is available at a low 6,000 RPM. The engine is enjoyably smooth and has a characteristic pulsating sort of beat, which differentiates it from the turbine-like inline 3 and 4-cylinder engines. Power delivery is thoroughly linear and performance is strong, but not quite breathtaking on the street. thanks to the relatively humble power output and hefty 242 kilo weight. Once on the move, it takes a little while to get used to the absence of a clutch or a gear shift lever. But the DCT works seamlessly. To set off, all you have to do is select D mode and gently open the throttle. Throttle action is smooth at the opening, with no jerks or inconsistency, while shifts arrive relatively smoothly. While in D mode, the bike soon starts to feel quite tame, and you'll soon find yourself switching into sports modes. The gearbox shifts later in these modes but remains relatively intuitive. Inclines and slopes are well accounted for, and the downshifts arrive along with braking to ensure you're in the right gear for corner exits. Manual mode is also available, but it's far easier to use the paddles only when you need to shift. On the road, the bike impresses with great ride quality. Potholes, even larger sized ones, are simply swallowed up, and the bike has a very rugged, indestructible feel about it. At higher speeds though, you'll find that it's reasonably capable, but the more road-biased ADV bikes simply handle these higher speeds better. The skinny front wheel doesn't provide much feedback on tarmac, and the Dunlop Trail Max tires aren't the best we've experienced in this segment. The traction control system also feels a little basic, even in the least intrusive setting.
As you can clearly tell by now, this is a really easy bike to ride, anywhere. Once you get used to the DCT system, which doesn't take very long, you can really explore the full potential of what this bike has to offer.
Switch the ABS and traction control off when you hit the dirt, and here's where you'll really appreciate how off-road capable this machine is, if off-roading is your thing. The large 21-inch front tire ensures you float over most surfaces without really losing any front-end feel. Although it is a heavy bike and does require some amount of muscling to keep it upright, it is extremely predictable when there isn't any tarmac beneath you. Most importantly though, with its automatic gearbox, the Africa Twin doesn't feel like an emasculated machine. It still retains the big motorcycle feel, but only leaves one less job for the rider.
And Honda has priced this bike just brilliantly. In fact, it falls into a price bracket of smaller displacement adventure tourers like the Marquis Stada 950 and the Tiger 800. But with the Africa Twin, you get a bike that isn't just a soft-roader, it's got true off-road credentials.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/etnow.